StrayAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, we are getting into our penultimate episode of this, what will be a 7-part series. Yesterday we did part number 5. Today we are on part number 6 of things that your older self will wish that your younger self knew now. So in other words, I'm jumping to the future and telling you, I'm giving you some advice that your older self wants you to get and start using right now, so you don't have to wait till you get older to know about it. That's what we're doing here. Before we get into that, I'll remind you of 2 things. First of all, my daily motivation and Monday motivation messages guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day or your week, respectively. All you have to do is be a part of my text community, which is free to join to get those messages once we start sending them again. So when we start sending them again, you'll be getting them. So if you text me and you didn't get a response, it's because we're not sending them right now. But when we do, you'll be getting them. My number is 305-384-6894. It is free to text me. It's free to join. You'll be getting those as soon as we start sending them again, which will be happening in the future. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. You can get access to all of our courses, all of our frameworks, all of our trainings. Everything that I talk about here on this show here is based on a framework. It is based on a training. It is based on some principles that I've already documented, taught about, and I coach people on utilizing and applying to themselves, to their personal lives, and to their businesses through my direct coaching and through our trainings and courses. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's where that all goes down. Getting into our points here, picking up where we left off. Again, we are talking about things that your older self will wish that your younger self knew earlier or did sooner or just simply understood right now, so you don't have to wait until you get old to figure it out. I'm telling it to you right now, so you can take advantage of it today. Picking up on point number 16. Point number 16 is pay attention and be aware. In many episodes of this masterclass, I've talked about attention, talked about the value of attention, because attention is one of your 5 forms of investment. You must pay attention to anything in which you wish to be great. And awareness. Awareness is about just noticing what the hell is going on around you. Many people are completely unaware of what's going on around them. If you want to see a simple example of this, go out in the street somewhere and notice how many people walk right past you and they never even register that you are you, because they never look you in the face. The reason they're not looking you in the face is because they're looking down at their phones while they're walking past 10, 20, 30, 1,000 people and not even noticing who they're walking past. That is a lack of awareness. Don't do this. Do not be unaware of what is going on around you. First of all, you can be putting yourself in a precarious position, because somebody could be plotting to do something to you. When they notice that you're not noticing what's happening, you become the mark. You become the target. This happens to people all the time. Walking around, not noticing what's happening. You got AirPods in both ears with whatever is playing in there so loud that you can't even hear what's happening around you. You're looking down at your phone, so you can't even see what's happening around you. Boom, you're an easy target because you're caught completely unaware. That's a simple version of this. And on a higher level version of this is you not even realizing what opportunities are available right now for you in your career, in your business, in your life, in your community, simply because you're not looking around and even trying to figure out what's happening. You're not even asking yourself any questions about what is happening here and why is it happening and how can I take advantage of it? Or how could it take advantage of me if I'm not paying attention? See, if you don't ask these questions, then these things will never occur to you. I touched on this when we were talking about taking advantages of opportunities in life. The more you pay attention and the more aware you are of what's happening, the more you will notice opportunity when it presents itself, or when you notice that there could be an opportunity if you were to take an action. See, if you're noticing what's going on, when an opportunity presents itself, you'll see it. It's kind of like any of you done any type of combat fighting, or any of you watch this combat fighting, you understand that as a combat fighter, UFC or boxing or kickboxing or anything like that, you have to be ready at the exact moment in which your opponent offers an opportunity, and that's when you strike. And if you miss that one moment, if you take a moment to think about it, when an opportunity presents itself, by the time you do something, the thought has transferred from your brain to your limbs, and then you finally try to kick or punch, the opportunity is gone, because the moment that it took you to think about it and realize, oh, do something, there's an opportunity right there, is gone. Your opponent made an adjustment, now the opportunity is not there anymore. So you had to be trained to respond instinctively to the situation and take advantage of the opportunity when it happens, not a moment after it happens. This applies to human interaction. It applies in combat sports, like I just said. This applies in the business world. It applies in everything. Now, in some places, there is a longer timeline where response can be had, such as again in fighting, for example, you got to respond like in a split second when your opponent lowers their guard hand and you can throw that punch and hit them in the face. Whereas in business, maybe you may have a couple of years in which there's an opening to take advantage of some crack in the market. But if you don't see it, then that opening closes up. But you had a couple of years to notice it. You didn't notice it. You didn't do anything about it. So sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer. You got to be aware, though, paying attention to what's going on. So when an opening does come, you can catch it. Or when something that could be an opening, if I just did this, there will be an opening there. You got to be able to make that move. You got to be able to take a step to your left or move your business over here or get yourself involved in this industry so that the opportunities can open themselves up to you. But if you don't open yourself up to the opportunities and move into a position in which you can see certain things, then again, you'll miss opportunities that you didn't even know were there. So understand, when I talked about missed opportunities in the previous installment of this series, it doesn't just mean the stuff that you know about. It means the stuff that you didn't know about. Those are missed opportunities as well. If you think about it, at this point in your life, whatever age you are, how many opportunities have you missed that you didn't even know you missed? You can't answer the question because you can't count opportunities that you don't know about. But I guarantee you missed a good amount through simple lack of awareness. Everybody has. Everybody has missed a bunch of opportunities of things that you don't even know you don't know. And it's a good thing that we don't have the type of technology that can take us through a movie of our own lives and show us all the stuff that we didn't even know that we were missing out on, because we would be most of us would probably be very despondent and distressed that we realize all the stuff that we missed out on so far in our lives. But it also might wake some of us up to say, damn, I'm gonna take advantage of everything now that I know how much I missed out on already because I wasn't even paying attention. The point being, folks, you want to step up your awareness so that you are missing out on as little as possible. Understand that as human beings, none of us is perfect. We are imperfect beings, so therefore we can create nothing perfect and we can never be perfect. However, you want to get as close to taking advantage of every opportunity as you can, as possible. And the best way to do this, the starting point, is to be aware. Because if you are not aware of an opportunity, you cannot take advantage of it. Okay, so the more you pay attention, the more you notice stuff. And when something comes up, you can see it and you can take action. Sometimes opportunity does not exist until a behavior initiates the opening of the opportunity. Again, let's use combat fighting, for example. You watch a combat fight, sometimes both fighters are right there in front of each other and they're both kind of moving a little bit and feinting and throwing little jabs, and there's no real opening. So the way that an opening is created is by one of the fighters takes a step to the left, and one of them feints a punch to the body and they throw a punch to the head, or one of them just throws a punch just to see how the opponent is going to react to the punch. And those things that the one fighter initiates in order to get the other one to respond, creates the openings. They start to notice, okay, this is the way that he blocks a punch. This is what he does when I fake going this way. This is what he does when I step to the right. And now you start to notice where the opportunities may be. And now later on, you can use that same movement again. That opening comes in, and now you're ready to take advantage of it. So sometimes you have to do something to create the opening that becomes the opportunity. Sometimes it doesn't always just fall right in your lap. Okay, so sometimes you have to do things to make the opportunity show up. And your behavior creates that opportunity. So you got to be the person who initiates the openings for opportunities. But you can't create opportunities, folks, in a place that you don't know that there is even potential for an opportunity. So you have to believe there's some type of potential for something happening in order for you to even put yourself in a position to where you can open up that potential, if there is some. Sometimes you may think there's potential over here, but there's not. But you won't know unless you go over there. All right, so sometimes you will think there's something there, there's nothing there. That happens. Again, what I just tell you. Human beings are imperfect. Nobody's batting 100% on this. But you got to show up. You got to keep your head up and your eyes open and your ears open, both literally and metaphorically. You got to know what's happening around you. Many of you are so unaware of what's happening around you, you don't even realize how much opportunity is passing you by every single damn day. Because you just don't even know what's happening. Any of you who's an entrepreneur, how much stuff are you reading and staying up to date on as far as what's happening in your industry and in your business? Are you reading emails? Are you reading trade publications? Are you staying up to date or following people who are on the cutting edge of what's happening so that when they know, they tell you and you know? Are you doing that in your industry? Those of you who are professionals, you have a career. Are you staying up to date on what's happening in your own industry to where there are opportunities that you could use to serve your company, or maybe opportunity you could jump on that might cause you to make a move in your industry because you know what's happening? But do you even know what's happening? If you don't know what's happening, you can't do this. Many of you have no idea what's going on in your own world. I'm talking about, do you even know what's happening in your own neighborhood? You know what construction projects are about to happen in your neighborhood, or what they're doing about zoning that empty lot down the street, or Who's moving into your neighborhood? Who are your new neighbors down? Do you know what's happening? Do you even know? You know what's happening in your industry? Many of you have no idea about anything that's going on in your own world, let alone further out. You got to wake up. And your older self will tell you this, but I'm telling you this now. All right. Keep your ears open. Notice what's happening. Ask yourself why things are happening and keep asking yourself where the opportunity is in everything that you see and everything that you do. There's often much opportunity hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone to be perceptive enough to notice it. And just one of these opportunities can change everything for any of us if you notice them. But awareness is the key. Point number 17. We're talking today about things that your older self wishes that your younger self understood earlier. Number 17, address conflicts instead of avoiding them. This one we kind of touched on in the previous installment of the series, where I told you that if the answer is no, just say no. Now, that doesn't necessarily equal conflict, but it is a version of going directly towards something that could be uncomfortable and could be disturbing emotionally for you or whoever else you're dealing with, but going to it anyway. And something that you know is a conflict, you know it could be disturbing. It may already be disturbing, and you need to go and address it. That's what high-level people do. And your older self, whether you're a high-level person or not, whether you call yourself that or not, when you get older, you're going to look back on your life 20 years ago and say, damn, I wish I had the courage and the balls to just have addressed that instead of letting it sit and fester and doing nothing, no matter what it is, anything that's a conflict. And this is part of the communication skills that I talked about earlier. All right, remember, most human beings are conflict averse. Most human beings will do anything to avoid conflict. They will do anything to avoid a conversation that could lead to conflict, and they will do anything to avoid an action that could lead to conflict. Even if they feel like they are in the right in bringing it up, they won't bring it up because they are so averse to the negative, uncomfortable is a better word, emotions that come with addressing anything that might become a conflict. The reason this is because conflict stirs up unpleasant emotions, and most human beings would rather avoid anything that will lead to emotional discomfort rather than actually dealing with those emotions and having the conversations head on. And by the way, when I say conflict, it doesn't mean this is not 100% covered by interpersonal disputes between two human beings. Sometimes the conflict could be between the way you want your life to be and the way you're actually living. That's a conflict. Are you willing to address it, or are you just going to keep telling yourself that it's okay and avoid the conflict? That's a conflict. All right. If there's a conflict between the physical shape you want to be in and the shape you're actually in, that is a conflict. Are you willing to address it, or are you going to avoid it? If there is a incongruence between the financial status that you want to have and the financial status you actually have, are you willing to address that conflict and do something about it, or are you just going to keep telling yourself that it's okay and it's going to fix itself? That's a conflict. So this is a communication skill, not only with you and other people, but also a communication skill you with yourself. Because the way you communicate with yourself is going to determine how you think and how you live. It's going to determine what you do. So where's the opportunity here, being that most people are avoidant of all conflicts, and no matter what it takes to avoid it, they'll avoid everything. Where's the opportunity, everybody? Opportunity is in the opposites. Doing what most people will not do and don't want to do, which means you addressing things immediately and directly while everybody else addresses things indirectly and later. That's what most people do. They try to put things off till later until they have no choice but to do something. And then they are indirect about addressing things even when they finally do. That's what most people do. This is the reason why most people are average. This is the reason why most people get to an older age, whatever you consider that to be, look back on their lives earlier and say, damn, I wish I would have. See, you don't want to be using that phrase. If I could wish anything for your future and my future, is that you don't look back 20 years from now and say, I wish I would have back in whatever year you're listening to this. I wish I would have 20 years ago. You don't want to do that. Reason people don't address things that could possibly lead to uncomfortable emotions is because they don't have control over their mindsets or their emotions. They don't have control over anything. When you have control over both, then conflict is not difficult for you. When you control your mindset and you control your emotions, conflict is not difficult. Doesn't mean you go trying to look for or create conflict unnecessarily, but it also doesn't mean that you're trying to avoid it no matter what. This is why you need to condition yourself for this. And by the way, we have material for that inside of Work on Your Game University. Point number 18. Today's topic, again, is things that your older self wishes that your younger self knew, understood, and was following through on right now. Number 18. Listen to people who are smarter, further ahead, and better than you. Further ahead of and better than you. Listen to people who are where you want to be, who are living how you want to live, doing what you want to do, who have become who you want to become. Listen to those people. Remember that life is not a one-person show. It's not just you by yourself. You don't want to be all alone doing everything on your own, including thinking, including coming up with insights, including solving problems. You don't want to have to do all that on your own because, first of all, you're going to be overloaded with work. And secondly, you're not good at everything. So why would you try to make someone who's not good at something do something? All right, you should do the things that you're good at and then outsource the things you're not good at. And human beings are social creatures. So it'd be very easy to find someone else who can easily do what comes difficult for you. But you got to connect with those people. That's the work. See, you don't want to be all alone doing everything by yourself, even if you're good at certain things, or you don't want to feel like you're trying to, or doing everything by yourself like you're trying to prove a point, that I can just do it all by myself. The point you want to prove in life is that you can achieve your highest possible levels and maximize on your potential. That's the only thing you really want to prove, is that you've maximized out on your potential. You've taken what you are capable of and you've not only met it, but maybe even exceeded it. And none of this says you got to do it all by yourself. All right, you don't get a bigger trophy because you did everything by yourself, as opposed to if you did things utilizing other people and other resources. The trophy is still the same trophy. A win is a win. So the slowest and least efficient way to do things is doing everything on your own, because there's only one of you. So you're definitely going to be slow and you're definitely going to be inefficient, as opposed to someone who's doing things using 5 other people or 10 other people. Isn't it much faster to do it that way? Of course it is, because now you got 10 sets of hands, 10 brains, 10 different backgrounds of experience, 10 different Rolodexes of people. 10, if one person knows 1,000 people, then 10 people know 1,000 times 10. All right, that's a lot of people you got access to, just because you're connected to one other person. So utilize the knowledge and the insights and other people who have already been where you want to be. All right, this is the mastermind concept. Mastermind concept means when you put 2 brains together, it creates a third brain, the mastermind, that only exists when there's perfect synergy between people. And you can create a mastermind with 2 people, 10 people, 7 people. It doesn't have to just be 2. The point is, when you put multiple heads together, you create a synergy that is an additional entity in and of itself. If you don't do this and you're doing everything on your own, then you have to take extra time to learn everything that someone else already knows, which means, again, that's causing inefficiency and slowness in your process. And swallow your pride. The whole point here is you want to swallow your pride and put your ego to the side and push the easy button to success, which is leveraging the experiences and the knowledge of other human beings. That's the easy button to success. Tap into things that other people already know, have already done, have already understood, and they already have mastered. And all you got to do is plug into it, and you will have access to their mastery level of knowledge with much less investment than they had to put in order to get it. So if it took me 10 years to figure this thing out, it took me 10 years to figure out basketball, let me sell you my program that's going to cost you $100, and I'm going to show you how to master this aspect of basketball. It took me 10 years to figure it out, but you will figure it out in 10 weeks. And all you got to do is pay $100, or if I charge you $1,000 or $10,000, it'd be worth it, because I just cut 9 years out of your learning curve. How much is that worth to you? How much is a year of your life worth in dollars? See, the people who already know what you need to know usually make themselves pretty available and accessible because they want to help people like you, and they let you know that they have it. All you got to do is make the investment to get it. That's it. We talked about this in the episodes on what to invest in. All right, so life, 5 forms of investment: time, money, attention, energy, and focus. So where are you investing in order to get access to the insights and the knowledge of people and things who just know stuff and can do stuff that you simply can't do? Let's recap today's episode, which is the next installment in our series of things that your older self wishes that your younger self knew that you today, younger self is you, know today, knew earlier. Let me say that again. Things that your older self, that's you 20 years from now or 40 years from now, wishes that you today, i.e. your younger self, understood now. Number 16, pay attention and be aware. Many opportunities are missed in life simply because people don't even know what's happening, and you don't even know that you don't know what's happening. Pay attention. Pick your head up. Stop looking at your phone when you're out in public. See what's happening around you and ask questions. Number 17, address conflicts instead of avoiding them. I mean this both by interpersonal conflicts and conflicts with yourself. Intrapersonal conflicts that you're having with you. If there's a conflict between the way you're thinking and the way you're living, you need to address that immediately. And if there's a conflict between you and another person, address it immediately and deal with it instead of being indirect, instead of putting it off and hoping that it goes away, because it won't. Number 18, listen to people who are smarter, further ahead, and better than you. Get access to these people. They already know what you need to know. They've already done what you need to do. They've already figured out what you are stuck on. Let them help you. All you got to do is invest in it, and you are able to buy your way into shortening your learning curve significantly by simply tapping into people and things that already know what you need to know. Tomorrow, we'll be getting into the 7th and final episode of our series of things that your older self wishes your younger self understood now. And make sure between now and then you text me so you get access to my text community. Numbers down below in the description. Also, Work on Your Game University. If you would like to access the knowledge, the insights, the brains, and the experiences of people like myself who know how to do the things that you're looking to do right now, and you want to have me directly coaching you on it, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all